art is a medium which transmits an emotion that the creator experienced when he or she was making it to its audience.
Greetings. Welcome back to Your Blue Dreamer broadcast. I'm your humble host as always, Dr. I. Coming through with a new Blue Speak. Today I've got on drummer Danny King. How's it going, brother?
Good. How are you, Isaac?
I'm doing great, man.
Nice.
So you've been on before. You were on with your current band, Desponders.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like 3-4 months ago. I don't know,
Yeah.
a while ago.
Yeah.
So you've been into some stuff recently too. I saw you were on a tour and got some things going. I mean, you pretty much always got things going, right?
I try to. Yeah. Try to stay busy.
Nice. So yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to get a little more in depth with you. I've already set up to talk to Jordan too, so I'm going to talk with him. And yeah, you know, sometimes I do like the whole band interviews more so actually. But you know, like I said, I moved recently and haven't really been able to do that, so I've just been keeping it remote for right now, which is it's cool. It works out, you know.
Yeah.
Sound quality can differ greatly sometimes, but it's all good, you know. The message is the important thing.
Right.
So
Totally.
yeah. So how's Desponders going right now?
Good. We just got done with practice. We have our first show booked, but we can't talk about it yet till the actual venue
For sure
releases. But yeah, we are grinding it out, trying to get ready for that. It'll be in late January. And yeah, programming lights. I'm doing that too with the whole playback system and MIDI and all that.
Nice.
So that's the
big time production.
Yeah. Besides practicing, that's the last thing I have left to like get this set together. It's just 3 like spotlights that shine up underneath of it, but it all goes with the beats.
Yeah.
Pretty much the drums and just fast strobes and all this stuff. So that's been my newest masochistic venture, you know, because it takes forever, but it'll be cool. I'm stoked.
Hell yeah. That's sick, dude. And you were on a tour recently too, right?
Yeah. I went out with Miniaturized, TJ's band. Timothy Joseph does 91X local show, and I played with him in Buckfast Super Bee and Palace Ballroom. So he's been my friend since I was like 13 years old. And their drummer, Chris Prescott from No Knife and Pinback, he couldn't do the tour. So I stepped in. It was a 10-day tour. It was rad. I haven't toured in 8 years, and it was really nice to go out we opened for Built to Spill.
Yeah.
And they were doing like a 30th anniversary of their album. I think it's called What's Wrong with Love? Okay. Nothing Wrong with Love, something like that. And it was cool. It played in Southeast, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Memphis, Nashville. So it was a quick tour, but they treated us really well. And the cool thing was we were the only opener, and fans showed up early. They didn't know who we were, but they were just there to have a good night and be there early. And so there was a lot of good feedback. Sometimes you go on a tour and you're the opener and there's, 10 people dwindling or,
it's crawling in.
Yeah, crawling in.
Yeah.
But for every show, I think all of them were sold out, and there was people packed from the start for pretty much every night. So
fuck yeah, that's cool.
And they were just super kind. Like Doug Marsh from Built to Spill is super kind and just awesome. They all were. So it was a good experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Fuck yeah, dude. So where did you get started in music? Like what age? When did it really start for you to where you knew you wanted to get involved in music? And then when did you figure drums were your thing?
I was about, 11 or 12, and my brothers both played guitar at this point, and my dad played guitar as well. And I was just tapping on things like I think I was introduced to Unwritten Law around then.
Nice.
Blink, No Effects, all the 1992, 93, 94, that whole time when Southern California pop punk and
Yeah.
was pop blowing up and skate punk. So I was tapping on stuff to records, and at the time I was playing, or I do play ice hockey, but at the time I was a goalie and I thought I was going to get new goalie gear for Christmas. And all of a sudden my dad was like, come out to the truck. I got something for you on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And there was a drum set.
Nice.
And I was originally like a little disappointed because I was all into hockey.
That's funny.
But then I set them up on Christmas Eve in my house, and my brother set up their amps, and we just like started jamming on Unwritten Law songs because that was what was most in my head. I was like obsessed with them.
Yeah.
And I somehow just played one of their songs. Not great, but I held through the whole, like it just came out of me.
Yeah.
The song Falling Down off Oz Factor. And it just, I didn't even know like how to set up the drums or anything really. I was just like, okay. And it just came out and I was hooked from then.
Nice.
Yeah.
So nothing before that? No lessons, piano lessons, or nothing like that?
Nothing.
Wow.
The only lesson I ever took was, after a couple of years drumming, I thought maybe I should go learn to sight read and take traditional lessons. And I did one lesson with this guy, and he tried to get me to sight read, but I had no clue what I was doing. And there was 2 drum sets set up, and I just mimicked what he was playing by ear in real time and faked it like I knew what I was reading, but I had no clue. And I was a little kind of rebellious punk, and I was like, I don't need fucking lessons. Like, I'm just going to feel this music. So I just never went back, and I never ever took another lesson.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure I have bad technique in some ways, and I could be better and, rudiments and all that, but I just never cared to. It was more about the song and playing with feel and stuff like that. So yeah, no less. Just listening to my favorite bands and playing along to them.
Can you read drum music?
I don't know how to really.
So you just all feel.
I could drum tablature. I get it. Like there's dots.
Yeah.
The kick drum's lower on the staff.
Yeah.
Snare. All that stuff. I could probably decipher it, but I could never like sight read that.
Yeah.
And, like play along to it. So.
Yeah. So you were influenced by your brothers a lot, like music style?
We all loved Unwritten Law growing up, and because we grew up in Rancho Bernardo, and in 93, my best friend told me about them. He's like, they're like down the street in Poway. I was like, oh shit. And they started getting big around then. And it was just all those bands. Me and my brothers all loved No Effects, Rancid, Blink, Unwritten Law, Strung Out. It was all California, skate punk bands with a few like other random things like Screeching Weasel from Chicago, and what else was there? Good Riddance from Santa Cruz. Yeah, but pretty much straight, and not really even the old punk stuff. Like we weren't like into Misfits or Dead Kennedys.
No,
I only got into that later.
That
was like,
mid-90s SoCal punk. Yeah, I was hearing all that shit at the same time too.
Yeah. Bad Religion was huge for me, still is.
Yeah. Nice. So that's what you stuck with? I mean, do you play anything?
I don't know how to play anything else. I've bought 2 guitars in 20 years and sold them for rent because I just
just to have you're like, let's buy a guitar.
Yeah, it never came as easy as drums, and I was like not disciplined to learn guitar. Like my hands are small and it hurt to make chord shapes, and I'm left-handed on guitar, so I did buy a left-handed Squire.
Yeah.
And a left-handed acoustic at different points in my life, and just sold them because I was like, I never gave it enough time.
Yeah.
Same thing. I bought a bass at once, couldn't play that. I could fake how to play keyboard, just make up little synth lines and stuff like that. And I sing. I love singing. I'm not trained in any of this stuff, but
have you sang on anything you've recorded or anything? Or?
Yeah, I have my own like solo thing. But I haven't done stuff with it in a long time, and I never played out. I never released anything. I've just still stuff that I'm working on. And I did do one song I sang on with Chris Prescott. He has this project called Marmota. It started in the pandemic.
Okay.
He would just get random people to play, and they always had to have 2 drummers on it. That was just the main thing because he's a drummer. Funny. So
yeah.
He asked me to play on this one song, and I played drums over his drums, just kind of polyrhythmic stuff over top of what he was doing. And then they were like, the girl that was going to sing the song can't do it now. I'm like, well, can I just sing on it? And then so that's one that's out there.
Nice.
But that's it. I think that's the only song I've ever sang on that's released on like iTunes and all that.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check that one out for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I always appreciate people that are self-taught, because I was self-taught and basically went through the same thing. My brother bought a guitar and I just took it over and was like, oh, it's my guitar now. And, and then I
Right.
just kept going, and that was when I was like 14 years old. And that's how it started. And, I still have regrets of not learning to read or anything like that. Like I started piano basics. I know major and minor chords and, but I just, that's what I always call myself a student of feels, of rhythm, and that's what carries me through. I have those regrets of, man, I wish I could solo. I wish I could do this stuff. And I mean, I could if I really wanted to, but I don't care to. It's not important to me, for what I do. I just do
Same.
what I do, and that's what I do. And that's
Same.
That's my little pocket that I fit into in this huge ass thing we call music.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely those times where I feel like I regret not having taken like real lessons and been classically trained when I see all these like YouTube or Instagram drummers that are just smoking.
Yeah.
But then I also go, well, can they just sit and play 4 on the floor to a good song
Right.
too? They have good feel. I've
right.
always loved drummers like Dave Grohl and Wade Human from Unwritten Law who have feel and it's them playing.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what I grew up in. Abe from Deftones,
Yep.
like, so yeah, it's just always been more about that. And not even consciously, I was just like so much more driven by music and lyrics and drums, obviously, but that message, there's got to be a deeper thing for me. Like, I can't sit and listen to math rock. I can't, like, it's cool. I'm interested in it. Like, Tool's an exception. They're a little mathy, but they have a melody and a message, and there's something bigger going on than just the parts of them. They're not all jerking off,
Right.
They're not showing off too much. They're doing the thing for the song, and that's what always attracted me to any artist I was listening to. Doesn't matter if they're, pop song or, whatever, black metal.
Yeah, there's always a basic, like a baseline to even some very complex things, and I think Tool's a great example of that because there's still the rhythm and the groove. And to me, Adam Jones he's not very complex, he kind of keeps the basic rhythm feel to me.
Right. They don't go venture off too far into, let me show you what I can do.
Right.
It's more like trancey, polyrhythmic things, and yeah.
And what best suits the song,
right,
and the feel, and the
right.
Totally.
I get it. People that love the Joe Satriani's and the Steve Vai's of the world and these virtuosos, but and I know they're feeling it, and I know that's what that's their lane, and they grew up in that type of thing, but I just can't connect with it. The litmus test for me is always, do I get goosebumps, upon hearing something for the first time, and then I know I'm hooked, and I don't have to dive in and analyze, oh, is that a 16 over 8 fucking beat? I don't care half the time.
Yeah. How does it sound in the car?
Yeah.
When I'm blasting it and I'm going on a drive somewhere, how does it feel there? And then how does it feel in headphones?
Yeah.
And that's how that's how I do everything I do, basically. Anything I record and, my playlists and everything, I compile these songs. I was thinking about it earlier because I'm actually doing something. I'm doing like a Christmas playlist, just for shits and giggles. And it's the first time I've done that because I'm so tired of hearing the same Christmas music songs every year, and at work, the ladies want to put it on and they'll put it on and I'm like, fuck, like again, like it's the same loop over and over. I'm just like, it's like torture to me. It's complete. I'm like, there's more Christmas songs out there. There's like a shitload.
Yeah.
So I made it my goal to actually compile a nice playlist. And I was thinking about it when I was doing it. I was kind of finishing it up today, and I was like, man, I pick good songs. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I like what I pick. And when
Yeah.
I go through it and I'm stoked on it, like you're saying, you get the goosebumps. I'm like, this is a great fucking playlist. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I've got the ears.
Right. Who do you have on it? What's it called? Like some examples.
It's random here. Let me see. It's I've got Jet does a good
nice.
cover. Bright Eyes has a good cover on there. The Fuzz Tones, Krongbin, a bunch of other like Binky Grip Type from the Dab Tone. It's eclectic. It's very eclectic. It's got some soul, some reggae. The Ramones, I put a Ramones song. The Ravenettes. So it's like Billy Gibbons. It's all the things that I want to hear.
Right.
But it's all Christmas. So it was cool. It was a cool little idea that I thought of. And once I finished it, it's an hour long. So I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. I'm excited. I'm excited to put it out.
Yeah.
So like I said,
I'll listen to it.
Yeah, no, I'll put it out. When I put it out, I'll announce it. I'll probably do it in like the first week of December or something. And it's great. I got a Josh Holmes song on there, and it's Sharon Jones. So it's cool. It's very eclectic, but it all flows.
Right.
And then when I mix them all, they flow in a certain way. Like I arrange everything a certain way. And like just from what you said, the goosebumps thing when I hear it back, then I'm like, this is it. I get it. But it's like that with all the mixes I do. It's I pick certain songs, and for whatever reason, they just hit me. And I'm like, that's the one. I go through a whole album, and then the one song, I'm like, that's the one I resonate with.
Right.
And I think that's that same feel, that same mentality. It's just when it hits, and it's not for everybody. And that's kind of a hard thing. That's one thing I definitely think about a lot too with, this podcast, this thing that I'm doing. It's like, who wants to hear this? I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah.
The fact that I keep doing it and I enjoy it. I like it. I want to be more consistent, and I'm working on that. And it's working, but I try not to look at the numbers or anything too much. I'm just like, who really wants to hear a bunch of music nerds just, geeking out on music? And it's like, I do. I know I do.
Yeah,
that's why I do it.
When I stumble upon stuff, like there was this podcast that broke down the song by The Replacements called Alex Chilton. And I was just on a kick listening to that song like last year. It's been around forever. And I remember hearing it when I was younger, but somehow it came back up in my sphere. And then I just found this podcast explaining the whole song. And so I'm a music nerd, and there's tons of people that fall into those niches.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, it's a labor of love, right? Like,
right.
Same thing with me. I don't care that Desponder's only has 1,000 streams in the last year.
Right. Right.
We've had the album out. We're like trying to market in whatever way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to make it a career or anything. If people find it, happens,
Right. Right. And that's it, and that's exactly how I feel. And not quite coming to grips, but I think about it. I definitely think about it. And there's millions of podcasts out there. There's millions of bands out there. There's so much music. And that's the one thing that I do love when I'm doing these mixes and stuff is I'm finding shit that I never would have heard of. And I appreciate that. That's the exciting part. I almost like my mixes more than I like the interviews, to be honest,
Yeah.
Like I do listen to them, but I like finding this music, and because I'm making these mixes for me, I'm not making it for anyone else. Cause I don't even know if anybody's listening. I mean, I know some people, but not a repeat customer or something. I have no idea. I don't know any of that shit, and I don't really care. I mean, it'd be nice, but
exactly.
I just got to keep doing it,
Just to like spending the time trying to keep up with how to market yourself on Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
TikTok. I don't have the time or the patience or anything. Like I like things that look cool and they're artistic, and yeah, I'll sometimes craft some post that I think looks good, but they usually fall flat unless you're paying for it,
Right.
and even then it's not going to reach a lot of people. So it's like uphill battle, and I just try not to concern myself too much with it. I'd rather spend time getting better, practicing, and then playing shows and putting out more music, and hopefully it grows through word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all we
You
can
know,
do, just
right,
keep producing, and hopefully we get the hook in the fish's mouth.
right, yep,
That's all you can hope for.
right.
So, do you consider yourself a good drummer?
I think so. I'd hope so. After it's almost been 30 years. I mean, people have told me from early on I was a good drummer and gave me a lot of adoration, and I think I'm like somewhere upper echelon, but not, elite.
Yeah.
Can't do a lot of stuff, but like what I do, my tricks and stuff, I'm pretty good, and I'm pretty solid with a metronome and the feel, and I'm very conscious of time and stuff like that. I don't like playing sloppy. Like there's some garage drummers that like, who is it? Black Keys, the Black Keys, and
Yeah.
like the Meg White.
Yes.
That never appeals to me, that garage slop drumming shit.
Yeah.
Like I like tight in the pocket, like Abe Cunningham,
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Exactly.
that song.
Exactly.
Yeah, and yeah. So, anyways, tangent. I think I'm a pretty good drummer. Yeah,
Yeah, no, and I agree. I mean, I'll solely not listen to music because of the drums. If they're
yeah,
not right on point, then I want nothing to do with it,
yeah,
because that's not me being snobbish or big headed. It's just something that I really identify with and look forward to when I'm listening to music. I want it to be tight and in the pocket and clean. I like my
yeah,
music very clean.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but
Right.
damn near.
Yeah,
It's just
totally.
that's just the way I listen and feel music. And I myself consider myself a good, like, rhythmic guitarist. I'm good at staying on the metronome, and even
Yeah,
without a metronome, I've got good feel, good rhythm, good feel.
yeah,
And that's just, I think it's just inherent. I think it's natural to anyone. You can tell by other people's playlists what they might be like as a musician,
right.
I would say.
Yeah. No,
So,
you're definitely in there in the pocket all the time. Like when I've seen you play, and um, yeah, it's just an interesting thing that people gravitate towards loosey goosey, stonery
yeah,
stuff, and that's cool. But for some reason, I just always like, and I don't doesn't mean I don't like
right.
distorted shit. Like I think about Nine Inch Nails is I think it was With Teeth, the album. I might be wrong, but Trent Reznor something like they were setting out to try to make a garage like electronic punk album.
Okay.
So it was still very tight, but all the tones were just shitty and distorted, and like they would detune the guitar on purpose. Sometimes they would purposely make some of the drum machines not be on a clock,
Wow.
so they'd warble, but there was
Yeah.
still something pulsing underneath it, and I just thought that was cool. Like
Yeah.
when it's done well, I don't know. I'm a huge hater of like drummers like Black Keys' drummer and Meg White. It's cool. It's got its own groove and stuff. But I'm just like,
Yeah. It's
you
not.
suck. You can't even hold. You have no separation of your limbs. When your kick drum's going, your hi hat's always going, and you just know things that happen. You can hear things in like a novice drummers. And you're like, but again, I don't mean to sound like a fucking
No,
asshole, but
not at
it's
all.
just like
I agree. I agree.
people that are like, "Oh, that's fucking rad." I'm like, "No, it's not really.
Yeah, it's not.
That snare sounds like shit." And
She's way off.
yeah, sounds like a fucking cardboard box.
I mean, in a way, it's kind of a gimmick.
Yeah, totally.
And Jack White is great.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's got his style and the way he plays, and he knows what he wants. Obviously, but I could tell that was something to lure people in a way.
right. Because then everything else since then, he's had badass drummers that are
Exactly.
on.
Exactly. They were like, oh, we feel bad for her. We're gonna buy their album.
Yeah. There is an interesting guy though. Daru Jones plays for him, and he is a drummer that I think played for Jay Dilla,
Oh, nice.
and he like kind of maybe pioneered that sound of like that staggered hip hop beat where it's purposefully behind the beat and
Right.
clunky and
Right.
like sometimes that shit drives me crazy, but sometimes I can like appreciate it and go, okay, they're doing it on purpose. Like,
Yeah. 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 Mad Lib will do that a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
different producers and shit.
And that's really cool.
Yeah, when
'cause-
I first heard that shit tripped me out, man. Cause
Yeah.
I grew up on old school hip hop, like the 80s and 90s stuff, you know, and once I think late 90s to early 2000s, that's when like Mad Lib and all those guys were starting to come out. And I would hear that shit. I was like, what are they doing? Like, what happened? Like,
it's all the scissor
is
they
my
were
CD
drinking.
fucked up? Should I clean it or what? Yeah, no. And it was just genius. I thought it was great, you know? And
No, it's rad.
it's a
'cause
jazz thing, you know? I feel like it's influenced by jazz, you know?
Yeah, no. And they're so good that they can twist time like that on purpose versus the person that just kind of isn't that great and they're just hanging on for dear life trying to play a drum beat,
Yeah.
you know. But we all start somewhere. Again, I don't mean to be
No,
an
of course not.
elitist, but I
No.
have my preferences.
Yeah. You're on the right podcast, trust me. I like to say the things that people think sometimes because that's what I think, and I don't get to talk about it too much. So when I get a
Right.
chance, it's like, and it's like I said, I'm not big headed. I am no one, you know.
Same.
I have like, I barely have any followers or any of that shit. So I ain't got no, you know, my shit stank. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, same. I fucked up during practice like 3 times. So.
There you go. See, it happens.
And then I yelled at our bassist because I thought he was out of key. So I have a control issues I gotta get better at. I didn't yell at him. I didn't yell at him, but I was like, yeah.
And then he talked your ear off the whole time. He's like, well,
yeah.
So why do you think good drummers are so rare? Because I feel like they are. I think they're when you find a good drummer, that's like a hidden gem, and they are that rare to me. I feel
true. That's a
the
good question.
percentages are against. You know, I feel.
Yeah. I wonder. I don't know if it's. Yeah, that's a good question. I've never thought about that. Why are there so few good drummers?
Yeah.
You just got to be feeling. You got to be feeling life. You have to like dance with the drums, you know?
Yeah.
So I watch some drummers that are just super, what's it called? Stiff. And I'm like, are you even enjoying it up there?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And the guys that like have to watch their hands go around the horn to like make sure.
Yeah.
Like they have to stare at the piece of the drum set that they're hitting. I love the drummers that are like tripping out where their eyes are rolling in the back of their head while they're playing and they're looking up in the air and looking out at the crowd or staring down at their feet, but they're in it. They're just doing it, and they got a gift from the fucking drum fairy somehow, you know? Like that's what I got. I don't know where it came from at all.
Yeah.
You know, I got blessed by something because it just came to me pretty fast. It wasn't great, but I was like, oh yeah, this is
got it. Yeah, you just get it, I guess.
Yeah, and there wasn't like it was work a lot of times, but I loved it so much I wouldn't get that frustrated, you know? Like yeah, I'm just playing along to my favorite records. There was some like story from a Native American drummer. He talked about the frequency of the world that it's actually vibrating in. Matches the frequency of your alpha brainwave patterns when you're drumming or something. I don't know if this is even backed up by science, but he said something to the effect of, I play the drums so I can go hang out with mom, meaning Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like really rad. Like, and that struck a chord with me. Like I play to get out of the chatter of my brain. Because when I'm in a good beat and I'm locked in with the song, I'm not thinking, you know,
right.
I'm in some other place. in that flow state. So I think that's what it takes.
And
to
do you
be
know
a-
what you're literally thinking when you're playing? Like in those
Sometimes
moments?
if it's something I haven't practiced too much, I have to kind of set myself up. Okay, here comes that drum fill, and
Right.
there's like, and then sometimes you screw yourself up by doing that. But
Right.
most time, not think really not thinking about anything. If I'm really locked in, um, it's kind of a little meditative space or something.
Yeah.
If I don't like get distracted or think about the next drum fill, or sometimes I look up and look out at a crowd and I that connect with that. But most of the time I play with my head down because I'm in my own little world. And um, I used to be an angsty drummer, especially when I drank and played, and I'd look up and if the crowd wasn't into it, I'd just hit harder and be like, "How fucking dare you?" Because I was like very egotistical and an alcoholic, and I
Yeah.
would be like, "Well, now I'm gonna chuck a stick at you." Like I just
Yeah.
wanted they're like, "Come on, how are you not
Yeah.
feeling this fucking cannon I'm using, with my foot and this shotgun, the sound on the snare, like I'm giving
Yeah.
every." But again, that's huge ego. But that's
Sure.
literally, to be honest, what I used to feel sometimes when I'd look out in the crowd and I'd see them not moving or like not seeming to get it. I would just like, "You fucking motherfucker, I'm gonna hit my drums harder now."
Yeah.
And that probably made it sound like shit and worse. But now I'm more like a little more like
Zen.
zen and not in the ego so much. And so I keep my head down so that doesn't like affect me. Because if I look up sometimes and people are on their phone or bored, I'm like, well, okay, let's just go back and pretend it's like when I was 13 in the jam room by myself
Right.
when it didn't matter if anybody's watching. So I,
Right.
I do I do that a lot. Just look down.
Yeah. You're all, I
Yeah.
am playing drums.
Yeah.
I am actually playing drums right now. It's pretty fun. So
Yeah.
gotta give it up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I just think about that, and that was a question I wrote down. Like, why are good drummers so rare, man? And it's true. I mean, I would love to know the percentages. Honestly, like it's got to be wild.
yeah.
How many guitarists are there? You know, to how many drummers are there, and
Yeah.
singers too. Singing is hard. It's not
Yeah.
easy.
Totally.
You
There's a
it's
lot
a
of
mind. It's very mindful.
yes.
In my
There's a lot of
experience.
oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking there's a lot of these crazy Instagram drummers that are like what's called gospel chops and they can fly around the drum set. But
Yeah.
again, I don't know if that they're obviously technically good, but I'm like, you're a dime a dozen. I'd rather listen to Dave Grohl who does not do one drum fill for a minute straight, or
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what's the drummer that played on the later Queens of the Stone Age records? He's in the Bronx now. What the hell's his name? I can't remember it. He played in the Danzig. Joey Castillo.
Mm.
He's another guy with style that I've loved, or I love his playing. But yeah, there's just these guys that masturbate on their instrument, and it makes me bored.
Yeah. No, I agree. Instagram for me helps. It doesn't inspire me. It's like it's the things that I know I like that I'm just it's time kill most of the time, but at least I keep my feed with things that interest me.
Right.
They don't necessarily inspire me, but they interest me. So I've got
That's
a lot of artists, like actual physical painters and graffiti artists and some singers, definitely drummers. I barely follow any guitarists at all. I love drummers more than I love guitarists.
yeah.
Yeah, especially just really in the pocket, groovy, simplistic playing drummers, man. Those are my
Right.
favorite, and
Me too.
like Clyde Stubblefield and shit like that, man. Just but then again, I could watch Dennis Chambers and just be like, "Fuck, all right,
Yeah.
crank it up."
Yeah. Yep.
So I love drummers, more than I love guitarists.
Right. There are a few that I'll always love when they masturbate on their instrument, like Buddy Rich. Like, yeah, they have a feel. They're stripping in sweat, and it wasn't some gospel chops thing they learned on the Instagram. They just had it in them. I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
those guys from that era, I'll make an exception for them when they masturbate.
It was a whole different era,
Yeah.
And where did you learn that? Because there was no media, there was
Yeah.
no, how, so it has to be natural,
Yeah.
I would say.
Right. They probably studied jazz and really worked their ass off, but
Right.
they still retain the feeling, There's always that argument of like, if you do too much traditional lessons, are you going to lose the feel? But if you only play by feel, then you don't know the rules you're trying to break, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a balance, I guess.
How many bands have you been in since you started playing?
How many? Probably like 30.
Shit.
Like, they weren't all like
fill-ins or just like actual like right in bands. Like...
Okay, it's probably about 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still shit.
And then fill-ins maybe 30 to 40, something like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
when did you start? What was your first band that you were in?
It was I think I was like 13 with my brothers, and we played at an Elks Lodge in Poway. We only had like 3 of our own songs, so we did those, and then we covered 2 Unwritten Law songs. We had a 5-song opening set. We were called Focus, and that was named after the surf movie that Unwritten Law, Pennywise, and Sprung Monkey were in. That was made by Taylor Steele, local surf videographer. So yeah, Focus was my first band, and then I was in this band with these Scottish guys I grew up with called Square Go, and we'd play pubs and play covers and top 40 stuff, and that was like, it was cool to like cut my teeth with that, but it wasn't my favorite thing to play Matchbox 20.
Yeah, no.
And the Beatles. I don't care for the Beatles either.
Okay.
I mean, I respect them, but it does not give me goosebumps when I listen to the Beatles or the Rolling Stones.
Not for drums anyway. Shit.
Yeah.
Especially not for drums.
Yeah.
Even though people will say like, "Oh, Ringo was a genius." Hear the isolated drums. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. He was cool because he played simple and played for the song, but I just never. No. Again, I can respect it. I can see why people are, infatuated with the Beatles, but it never took me. Never gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was around 13 or 14 when I started playing in bands.
When did you get like more serious like this?
I think around 19. I was in a band called Spell Toronto from 19 on, and we started doing more stuff. We ended up going on the Warped Tour, the whole Warped Tour. We put out 2 records, and we had a manager that we were trying to do like the LA thing, and it was starting around that time. And then also at that same time, I joined this band called Seosin, like a screamo band.
Yep, I know that name.
And we were about to go on tour, and I got kicked out the night before because they wanted double bass pedal, and I didn't know how to play double bass pedal. And also, I kind of flubbed one fill. We were opening for Goldfinger in Tucson. It was at the time that John Feldman had signed and worked with the Used and Story of the Year, and there was like this buzz that John Feldman was gonna like pull up Seosin and do the same thing. So we got to. I remember we got put on the show with Goldfinger in Tucson, and we like got bumped up above the other openers. They were all pissed, and we got to be main support. We only had like 7 songs.
Wow.
And yeah, and I drank afterwards. I drank Goldfinger's Goldschlager backstage. They're all straight edge, but their roadies weren't. And I got drunk, and this is the beginning of my alcoholism at 20 years old. I got drunk, and then I went home with my friends who had drove out to Tucson to see me. And I was told the band, I'm like, okay, I'll meet up with you guys later. I'll see you in LA next week for practice. And they took that as like, I wasn't dedicated. The fact that I didn't ride back with them to LA. I see it now as that.
Right.
I was just there for the party kind of too. I was like, oh, this is, because Seosin was like really big from the start, at least bigger than anything I'd ever done. Like our first show was at the Showcase Theater in Pomona or something. And it was like 500 kids sold out, and they're all screaming all the lyrics. Like
crazy.
It was wild. It was all through like Friendster and that's whatever. So yeah, around that time, I thought I was like starting to, okay, this is my chance. And we had a whole summer tour booked, and then I got dropped the night before. they called me up to LA. They're like, hey, we watched the video of you playing at that Goldfinger show, and we watched you miss a certain beat, and we really want the double bass pedal, and you haven't learned how to play it very well. But mind you, the lead singer, Anthony, was like, psst, who gives a fuck about the double bass pedal? Just play single. And he would like tell me on the side, be like Dave Grohl, just smash those things. Fuck this double bass pedal shit. And so I was conflicted. I'm like, okay, the lead singer's telling me don't worry about double bass, but all the other guys were all had hard-ons for double bass. But yeah, I got kicked out and I was devastated because I thought that was my like ticket, you know.
Well, shit, you were 20, right?
Yeah, and I like. Fuck. But then the next year, I went out with Spell Toronto, my band that I loved way more, and like knew all the guys, and they were my brothers and everything. Yeah. We got to go on Warped Tour, and then I remember running into Anthony Green at the Warped Tour in Philly, and he's like, "I quit sales, and I'm in this band called Circa Survive now." I was like, "Okay, nice. Cool." I didn't feel as bad. He's like, "Yeah." He seemed like he was over it. So I was like, "Okay." And yeah, they went on to tour the world and have success, and I love their music, but I don't think I missed out on too much there.
Crazy.
Like, I did my own thing.
Yeah.
That long story short, that was the time where it started to pick up and get more serious with the touring. And then I joined Burning of Rome at some point after. Oh no, before that I joined Phoenix TX and we did tour with Thunder and Law. And then Burning of Rome after that, and we toured a lot. And then after Burning of Rome, I joined a band called The New Regime, which is the drummer from Nine Inch Nails band.
Wow.
He's Chula Vista. And we did 2 U.S. tours back to back.
He's from Chula Vista?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Bonita.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then I got burnt out on, I didn't do a lot of touring, but just at that time, 2 back-to-back tours, U.S. tours, I was just exhausted and like needed to come home and go back to school, and got my master's degree and got into cybersecurity. And I was like, I don't want to do music as a career anymore. I don't want to be a jet setter touring. I need to be a homebody a little more and get my mental health right. So yeah, that was the trajectory.
Yeah.
Since,
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You just named so many names. I was like, I've heard that band. I've heard the band. That's fucking sick, dude.
And it's sprinkled in there was like Buckfast, Super B, and Palace Ballroom, and I don't know who else. I guess the biggest bands I ever was part of were Phoenix TX and Seos, and
that's crazy. Nice. That's
but
fucking
just
awesome.
fill in, just a hired gun, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you did it. You did what most people fucking dream of, you know?
Right. And that's what I was thinking when I watched Under Law when I was like 14 or whatever, when I first saw them. I was like, how could I ever get up on that stage? It seems so far away and like so otherworldly. And then just slowly but surely, I was starting to do those same things. And then my next goals would be like, how would I ever play an amphitheater? That seems so far. And then it started happening. Not like we were headlining, but I opened for Bad Religion and stuff. I've done a lot of cool things opening for bands. Never really headlining huge shows or anything, and then would be like, how am I gonna ever play like an arena? And then with Buckfast, we got to play sports arena so all these little like things. I reached those goals, and then I was like satisfied with that. I'm like, okay, I don't need to like kill myself over this anymore.
Yeah, felt good. Move on.
Yeah,
that's cool. So, how many kits do you own currently? Do you own a lot, or?
I have a Ludwig Maple Custom. I have a Sonar Phonic, it's called, I think, and I bought that off Kelly Scott from Failure.
Nice.
Well, like 10 years ago. And then I have a Gretsch Catalina, which is just like my beater drum set that we all share in my practice room. And then my newest is this Q Drum Co. drum set that's amazing. And the owner of the company and the main drum builder, the guy behind Q, he passed away 2 years ago almost from stomach cancer pretty suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And about, I don't know, 9 months ago, I saw one of the last Q drum kits being sold in a shop at a Hollywood Pro drum shop. And they're like, we don't know why it hasn't sold yet. It's been sitting here for like months. And I just grabbed it up, and then I found a snare on eBay that was being sold. So I have this beautiful Q Drum Co kit, and I've always wanted one. He was such a cool guy. Like, I met him a couple times at NAMM, and he was the drum tech for Nine Inch Nails and Muse and tons of other Joey Castillo when he was in Queens of Stone Age, I believe. So yeah, Jeremy was his name, and he just super nice guy. And yeah, he passed away too soon, and he made beautiful drums. So I'm very grateful to have that kit.
It's a green color.
Yeah, it's like a green moss.
Yeah, I saw pictures on Instagram, so I was just kind of like, is that?
And it's called medium gauge steel, I think, or mild steel, not milled. I thought it was milled. It's a class of steel called mild steel. And then he's got maple reinforcement rings around places where you put the heads on, so that you can you can shape a bearing edge easier, because that's what the head sits on. You can still have a bearing edge with metal drums, but I guess the maple reinforcement rings warm up the sound, because it's a metal drum kit. It's going to be very bright and punchy, but the wood rings, they call them, warm it up and help it balance it. And it's a smaller kit than I'm used to. I was always all about the 24-inch kick, 14-inch, and an 18-inch.
Isn't that Grohl setup?
Pretty much, yeah. Partially John Bonham kind of. Well, Bonham had a 26-inch kick. Yeah. I had a 26 for a little while, but it was a little too big. Like, you have to push a lot of air, and like, it doesn't always lend itself to every recording or live scenario. It's kind of it's got a narrow lane of. Yeah. So anyways, this Q drum kit is 22 inches, smaller bass drum, 13 rack, 16 floor, but it punches and it's big. And I let go of the ego about always needing to have bigger drums. So I was like, no, this is fucking rad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it looks awesome. It's like green, and then, obviously the maples. It's kind of a darker maple.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Classy looking, super classy.
And it's super rad. And he does these rivets. The shell is joined, and then he rivets it.
Nice.
That was his style.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
What was your first favorite kit that you ever owned? Like you were just like, this is the fucking shit.
When I went on Warped Tour, I bought a Yamaha Maple Custom Blue Sparkle, and that was my first real professional drum kit.
Nice.
I went and asked my dad, I'm like, I'm going on this US tour, my first one. Can you help me buy this new kit? Because my other one was like a Pearl. It was kind of trash. But yeah, that first Yamaha one, and I sold it to a buddy who played in a Mega Man cover band, so he needed a blue drum kit. They're called the Megas.
How long ago was that?
Oh man, like almost 20 years ago, because I did Warped Tour when I was 19, and when I came home shortly after, I sold it. His name's Mikey Levinson. He's the drummer for Agent 51. But he was in this band called the Megas for a while. And
that's crazy, because that shit is so popular on Instagram. Like these bands that just do covers of video games. You know? That's crazy that it was fucking 20 years ago and they were doing that. I had no idea.
And they're still killing it. Mikey's not in the band anymore, but
dude, they're probably huge now. They're probably fucking.
They play like video game conventions and all kinds of cool shit.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I follow a couple fools. There's this dude called Button Masher, and he's a piano player, and he's crazy on the keys, but he just plays like 8-bit, digital and it sounds amazing. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. When I find something I like, no matter what it is, if you're sick with your shit, dude, I'm just like, respect. And I love that shit. And he's just like, whoa, dude, that's fucking amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know shit about that shit, but I know what I like when I hear it. And I was like, that sounds cool. Yep. Fuck yeah.
Right.
So when you do fill in, for other bands, how do you feel about that? Like, I mean, obviously you're down to do it. And why, do you have any qualms or any, is there any expectation that you there might be a bit of hesitance on your part, how do you feel about that?
Mostly if I'm asked to do something as a hired gun, I got to like it enough. Sometimes I've done projects where I'm like, I'm just helping somebody out, or I don't know. And it's not like I'm using it for money. Like, I don't need it. I'm fortunate enough to have a job that pays the bills, but like, Sometimes I'll take like gigs that I don't totally love, just like recording studio stuff.
Yeah.
I won't tour anymore with anybody I don't jive with or don't love their music. Like
Hmm.
that's fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go play on someone's song that I don't totally love, Um, but yeah, if I'm helping write with somebody, I gotta have a good rapport with them and like their music enough
Sure.
that because you're spending a lot of time with somebody, and so it's gotta work.
What was the worst experience where you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it, and you did it, and you're just like, "Ugh," you had to take showers, and it felt
Yeah.
dirty, like,
There was one, I don't want to drop the guy's name at all, but it was uncomfortable. And I had to tell him, hey, I was just supposed to be your hired gun in the studio, and now you're asking me to play like live with you, and I'm
yeah,
just not comfortable with that. And
yeah.
it just got weird.
Was it
So
that? Was it bad? Was it the music bad or something?
yeah,
Okay,
it
okay.
wasn't that great.
You
It
have to
wasn't my
get
cup of
into
tea.
detail.
And he's a super nice guy, and
Yeah,
I knew him for a while. Kind of grew up with him, and I just felt bad that I had to like in the middle of practice stop and go outside with him. Like, hey, dude, I gotta leave right now. Like, I can't even do this anymore. Like,
yeah,
more power to you. These are
yeah.
your songs.
Good luck.
And I'm like,
Good luck on your journey.
I don't jive with these songs at all, and I don't really like that your wife's filming us for content for
Oh,
Instagram and weird shit like
oh,
that. I was just supposed to be playing on the tracks in studio, and now it feels like you're trying to get me in your band and like
right.
let's play band at your house and have content and like show off. We're in a band. I'm like, no,
No,
sorry.
crazy.
So yeah, took him out. I walked outside with him. Like, I gotta go. I'm gonna pack up my stuff and leave right now.
I've got to
Sorry.
break up with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
felt
you,
like
it's
that.
me. It's not you, it's
Yeah,
me, okay?
yeah, totally.
Don't take this personal, but
Yeah,
ugh.
yeah.
Respect. Hey, to each their own, man. To each their
Right.
own. I try not to shit on anybody else's music. Try not to.
I know. I try. This is not the best.
I said try. I said try.
This is not the best promo for me to get any more work. I've talked shit about a lot of things, and
They'd be like, Danny's an asshole. Fuck.
yeah.
But goddamn, can he play those drums?
I try to be more like Josh Freese in interviews. Not that I'm even close to on his level, but he's very diplomatic. But there are sometimes he drops some shit. He's like, "Yeah, I used to play on fucking awful records. Like how many different Avril Lavigne carbon copies did I have to play on?" He'll say
Sure.
stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Again, I'm not even in the same class with him. My name
Yeah.
doesn't belong in the same sentence with him, but I like his approach where he's like, he knows his shit and he knows he's good and he can be snarky about some stuff, but he's on whole, he's a good, grateful guy, positive. So
Yeah. I mean, in the whole scheme of things, the whole micro macro vision, who cares what anybody says? Because someone might never hear you ever, 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 and maybe 1,000 people will hear you, maybe 10,000 people, but there's no way to know, and
right,
that's the thing. So why take shit personal? I don't get it.
right. It's also, I just thought of this. O would always just talk shit. He didn't give a shit. He was punk and he didn't care. He's like, great guys, shitty band.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He just spoke his truth, and like he did have the chops to back it up, and he did have like the feel, and all
Yeah,
his songs are rad, so
style
he could
and
say it. But
everything.
like,
But he was also a big fat guy.
yeah,
It's like, but he
okay,
was the shit. It's like, it's just, I love O so much.
yeah,
Like
I miss him.
it just, I've been talking to Tim, Tim Fears.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been friends forever, and I'm just like, I want to do a tribute thing at some point. And he's just like, oh, bro, I know you can talk to me. And I'm like, okay. Well, at some point, I
right,
really do, because, I mean, O really shaped my guitar playing. Like, he really
yeah,
did. But he was an asshole, because I remember when I was 16 years old, I would go to their fucking shows, and I'd roll to the side of the stage. I remember one time they played at San Diego State, and I rolled to the side, and I was just like, he's like, what's up, dude? I was like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, I remember you in another show, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're playing guitar, right? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm playing. He's like, what kind of guitar you got? I was like, oh, I play Epiphone Les Pauls. He's like, dude, do yourself a favor, break the neck, and go buy a Fender. And I was just like,
yeah,
okay, thanks,
yeah,
bro. I was like, that's just how he was,
yeah.
And he's
So
kidding, but he's not kidding, but he's kidding,
right. He's so unapologetic. But then he would also support you and like try to critique you and bring out the best stuff out of you. But yeah, it's just he would make fun of like some band, like some big band put out an album. He's like, the album sucks. They got covers on it. They shouldn't have put covers on that album or one cover. They ruined it. It was like Van Halen. I don't know. Somebody big. He just is like, oh, album's ruined. They got one cover on it.
They fucked it all up.
Yeah. So good.
That was a gem, bro. He was a fucking gem. A diamond in the rough.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. All right, cool, man. Well, let's get into the music.
Okay.
So I always ask the artists that I speak with, give me 3 influences and, you know, beginning, middle, and most recent, and then your original stuff. So the first one you picked is Descendants, We.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
I don't care what they say. Those numbers don't mean a thing. We got it made. This world is just me and you, and we know just what to do. We got it made. Hey, everything's gonna be okay. We've got it made together. Hey, everything's gonna be okay. We've got it made. Well, I don't care if we get a job. We've already got a life. We got it made. And I don't know what the future holds. All I know is you're there with me. That's all I need. So hey, we got it made. Everything's gonna be okay. We got it made together. Hey, we got it made. Everything's gonna be okay. We got it made.
Fuck yeah. So honestly,
When I look in your eyes,
oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
know what I want in life. Nothing more and nothing less. Nothing more and nothing less. Everything's gonna be okay. Nothing more and nothing less. Everything's gonna be okay. Be the key to my success. Nothing more, nothing less.
Bro, that was dope. I've never heard that band ever.
Oh, you never-
I've heard of them. I've seen, you know, I know the singer wears glasses and the logo. Never have I fucking ever heard a song from them. I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
That's fucking rad.
That was great. They're fucking sick. I'm gonna fucking listen to their shit. I like the
whole-
message. They were clean. Obviously a good drummer. Like
Yeah.
tight. That was cool. Wow.
Yeah, that was 1996. That album came out. Everything Sucks.
Yeah.
And I'd heard of them because they've been around since like, I don't know,
1981
1981 or something.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I
19
had friends that were all into them and shit, and like
Yeah.
you know, in high school. But I always see the logo, you know, and never heard any of their songs ever. That was the first time I ever heard a Descendants song.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, 96, amongst that same backdrop of all the punk stuff I was listening to,
Yeah.
they were making a kind of a comeback. I think they had been out for a couple of years because Milo went away to college and got his degree, and they started a side band called All,
Okay.
the 3 members of
So
Descendants.
they're from the
and
80s. They're old
They
school.
started in like 80, 81 or something.
Oh shit. Okay.
They're fucking like 60 years old by now.
Okay.
And they started a side project called All when Milo, the singer, went away to college. And All sounds like it's Descendants a little bit, but a different singer. And same three guys, drummer, bass, guitar, but yeah, they have a different singer. They had multiple different singers in that band. All, I prefer Descendants over all, but they're both great. And that one just gave me goosebumps, especially during the chorus where there's "We've Got It Made," and then the backing vocals, "Everything's gonna be
Yeah.
okay." Like they weave in and out, and that just, I remember the first time I heard that, I got the goosebumps. And it's just like a great song of hope, like about
Yeah.
you and a person in a relationship are gonna make it, you know?
Yeah. That was cool. I got the goosebumps right. I was like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, I like that. That was cool. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Very
I'm
awesome.
gonna hear that song every day. I'm like, hey, everything's gonna
Yeah.
be okay.
Yep. It's perfect.
That'll be my to perk me up, if I'm feeling
Right.
down. That was a good one. Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. Now we got Sunny Day Real Estate,
Mhm.
which everybody knows, but The Rising Tide. Let's go. So why that song?
I think Sunny Day Real Estate was like a gateway drug to other non-punk music. So I was so all about punk growing up in my first like 5 years of playing music and all that. And when I joined Spell Toronto, those guys were older than me and they were more into like the Casbah scene bands like Inch, No Knife, indie rock stuff. And they made me a mixtape, the lead singer did, and it had Pavement, Built to Spill, Sunny Day Real Estate, No Knife, Inch, Jimmy Eat World, Rocket from the Crypt. And so I was just like, I got it. It just all clicked. I'm like, oh, there's this whole other palette of music. And Sunny Day was one of my favorite bands.
What Sunny Day album was on that one? The first one?
That was the Rising Tide. Name of
okay.
the same. Yeah, that's third album, maybe third. Yeah. That's my favorite album. Diary, people like that one, but I still like
Yeah, that's
Rising
what I
Tide.
knew of Sunny Day, and that was
Yeah.
from hanging around Jason Manuel and
Yeah.
Dwayne and those guys, and they would, Jason would bump Sunny Day, and
Yeah.
me and Dwayne would just be like latch on, but
Yeah.
yeah, when I heard Circles, I was like, fuck, that
Yeah,
shit's
no,
crazy. Like I
that
never
song
heard
is
anything like
rad.
that shit.
I caught their last song as I was walking into the Dia de los Deftones
Nice.
show.
Yeah.
That was cool because
Okay.
I'd never seen them before, so I got a little snippet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just rad, and their drummer, William Goldsmith, obviously he was in Foo Fighters in the
Yep.
beginning. He fucking rips.
Yep.
And Nate Mendel, who's in Foo Fighters now.
Yep.
But yeah, they're just rad. They're just like that perfect. His
Bless you.
voice is very ethereal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's especially on Diary. It's just so like, I don't know. I just never heard anything like that, So
No.
it was super crazy, and but it's very just. I mean, especially in circles, run. It's
Yeah.
just so like,
Yeah.
oh man, that shit's fucking horrible.
And he gets like a little gravelly in his voice, but it's also falsetto and
yeah.
It's just that, and that's how Spell Toronto sounded. When I heard Sunny Day, I was like, oh, I get where our singer is influenced by that.
Yeah.
That's so.
And like I said, these things, these bands that I might know of or might not know anything of, I never claim to be like, oh, I'm fucking diehard, fucking number one. Like it's like,
oh yeah,
I know
Same,
what
like-
I know what I know. Like I know Deftones front and back. I know
Mhm.
fucking certain shit front and back. But there's things that I caught on to, on my journey, and it's just like I respect that. I respect that part of that because I identify with that.
right.
So you like their whole catalog? No, I like that song, but
Right.
I would never claim to be like, oh fuck yeah, dude! Like I know all this shit.
That's Sunny Day Real Estate is a perfect example of that. Like I can't name the songs off Diary. I
Yeah.
know Circles. I probably have never listened to Diary all the way through,
Yeah,
but I did latch on to Rising Tide and listen to that thing like all the time. And they
Yeah.
made such an impact because they were this pivot point to other music and this other thing going on
Yeah.
when all I knew was punk rock,
Yeah.
So and
Emo shit,
Deftones was that for me to getting into metal
Yep.
and Pantera and stuff, and then
Yep.
Nine Inch Nails for electronic. There's always been these gateway bands to other genres,
Yeah.
and those are always going to stick with me and give me goosebumps because it reminds me of a time when it was like magic. Like, oh, what is this sound? This new thing that's
Yeah.
just
New-
jazzing me up.
New
Like,
discovery.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen much anymore, obviously, because I think being a musician, at least personally, I've gotten a little jaded. Now I'm listening more for things. I know how the sausage is made. So
Right.
there's a little less mystery sometimes.
Right.
But there are bands that come along and like wow me, like the Bronx.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just pick and choose songs here and there, and I maybe don't dive into a whole album because maybe there's not that many other great
Well,
songs.
you know what you like, so you just
Yeah.
pick out the bits that you do like,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
This is a good example. Health.
Yeah.
These guys are pretty sick. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of the Downbeat podcast.
Mm-mm.
This dude named Craig Reynolds, he's the drummer for a band called Stray from the Path.
Okay.
And they're kind of like Rage meets Meshuggah.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, he's a sick ass drummer, and he's real clean with this shit. And he interviewed the vocalist. No, not the vocalist. The key guy. He plays
the tall
keys.
bass, long hair.
Yeah, the tall dude with the long
Yeah.
dark hair. He interviewed him, and it was so funny, dude. Like he's sick, and I was like, I
Very-
don't really listen to them that much. I mean, I'm aware of them. I know of them.
Mhm.
I have listened to them, but it's just. I would say this kind of comes from Nine Inch Nails influence. I
Right.
would say so.
And I had a hard time thinking about what's been like lighting me up lately.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Health for a little bit, for like 3 years, but I don't dive into all their stuff. But
Yeah.
it just, I was like, well, I'm listening to Ellie Goulding's one song. That girl,
Yeah.
she's like a Dua Lipa
Yeah,
pop singer, and that
exactly.
just grabbed me. It's a song
Yeah.
from like 2014,
Yeah.
total pop,
Yeah.
and I just like totally geeked out on it, but
Yeah.
I didn't choose it for this. I chose Health.
They do a sick ass "Be Quiet and Drive" cover.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sounds
Nice.
pretty
I'll have
good.
to listen.
Yeah. So
They
let's
played
check this.
that,
Go ahead.
and they played the DLS Deftones show too, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I missed it because my wife was lagging
Boo. Boo.
in the background. But
All right, cool. Yeah, this is Health. Feel Nothing.
yeah.
You're not the only one. You're like the rest of us. Oh, you will become undone. We're alone with everyone. We wanna soothe the burn. We wanna dull the hurt. So we don't feel nothing. Why should we try so hard? Let's get numb. So we don't feel nothing. Let's comfort in the dark. Let's get numb. So we don't feel nothing. Here alone, we didn't choose to be born under a dying sun. Just let us cool the burn, so we don't feel nothing. Why should we try so hard? Let's get numb, so we don't feel nothing. Let's comfort in the dark. Let's get numb, so we don't feel nothing.
So why'd you pick that song in particular? Oh, I can't hear you. I think your mic
Mute.
went- There you
Sorry.
go. No, it's okay.
I think the industrial part of it I love,
For sure.
paired with his like ethereal voice. He
His-
almost kind of sounds like Jeremy Enoch.
He's got
from
a
Sunny
sick
Day.
voice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and just that drum machine is just fucking awesome. And yeah, the melody, everything about it, it was a new breath of fresh air with, there's so many carbon copies of Nine Inch Nails and that type of industrial stuff, but they seem to stand out and have their own thing. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of incorporating a different angle to that
Yeah.
industrial,
definitely.
because it sounds like 90s industrial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Stabbing Westward. Not the
Right.
vocals, but like the music and
The
stuff.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of push to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm not a big fan, but I respect. And it's so funny, literally, when I hear these songs in headphones, I'm just like, oh shit, okay, like I
Yeah.
need to listen to this more. That's why I like hearing other people's picks, because then it's like, oh, you're showing me something,
Right.
Because I'll hear it on an earbud or and so, but when you get it in headphones, it makes a
Right.
big fucking difference. So
Totally.
it's like, oh shit, all right, I might listen to them a little more now. I'll check them out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same.
Well, this is your first of your original songs. This is Spell Toronto, Time to Run.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's time to run. What are you running from? It's time to go. Where is it that you gotta let go? Let
long ago was that?
I think we put that out in 2007.
Okay. Hell yeah. That shit was dope.
Yeah. Thanks.
Nice. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the longest. The band I was in for the longest, like 10 years. We did Warped Tour and all that stuff. So I had a lot of firsts with that band. And yeah, that album, when we were writing it, our singer was breaking up with his girlfriend, and I was starting to as well, or got broken up with, and I was like starting to get deep into my alcoholism. So,
Mhm.
and that song just ironically matched what I was feeling. You know, he was talking about getting through his breakup, and I was too, and it's time to run.
Right.
And what does he say? Drink it up. Your arms will make it through the night. Just little things in there
Yeah.
that made me.
Even the cover art was sick. I like that. The two kids on the swing set and
Oh, yeah,
shark
be
fins
more
in the
careful.
sandbox. Dude, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
he was like, yeah, that relationship fucked him up, and that whole album was about him and that girl.
Wow.
And there was just a lot of parallels with my breakup that came a little after it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Timing is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good or
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Next, we've got the Palace Ballroom, Descender.
Crawl away, you're getting out from underneath the building doubt that complicates our time. Crawl away from everything that keeps you choking on the dreams of some better life. You're getting farther back and farther back. You're waiting for me to attack you. I have no designs. Farther back and farther back until we're nothing but a speck inside our minds. So keep it safe until I'm gone. The memories will all give way to another life when summer comes, as the other life disintegrates. And it goes on and on and on. So much for penitence. Like a pin thrown off a cliff, you don't plummet but gently drift, descending with a glide. And all around you feel the grip of currents like some steady wrist pushing from behind. Farther back and looking up from where you're at, it seems like such a climb. And all the days you've tried to save yourself from ending up this way are now just wasted time. So keep it safe until I'm gone. The memories will all give way to another life when summer comes, as the other life disintegrates. Can you believe in something still? Can I repair what's been undone? As I live and breathe, you know I will. But it all depends when summer comes, and it goes on and on and on and on. So much for penitence. So much for penitence.
Another band I've heard of, you know, obviously, but never really heard any of the songs.
Yeah. That's Jason Manuel
He was on there?
playing the lead and some of the backing vocals.
Nice.
Yeah. Jason, I made a Craigslist ad because I was trying to find people outside the like immediate circle I'd always played music with.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, no one has good luck on Craigslist for looking for musicians. But it seemed like it. But I just threw out an ad, and like he was like fucking amazing, like that I met him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like he's a badass guitarist. And we had
Jason's the
that.
man, bro.
Yeah, and I probably listed some of my influences, and then we got down and wrote a 9-song record right off. Like, I don't know, it happened very quick. This band we were in called the Firebird Suite. It was one of the coolest things I ever did, and we only played like one show.
Okay.
And Bill Driscoll played bass on it.
Yeah.
But it was one of the few times I played on an album without a click, because Jason just has, it just felt right to sway and pull, push and pull. And like, he taught me that songs don't have to have the formulaic pop structure. He's like, this song might not have a chorus. I don't even know. It just has this, there's just weird parts that would happen and never come around again.
Yeah.
And it just felt really cool. I really wish that band would have kept going and done something, but
what year was that? What time?
it's like 2012.
Okay. Yeah.
2011, 2012. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long did you guys play for?
It took us like, I don't know, maybe 3 months, 4 months to write the album and then record it. And then we just played like 1, maybe 2 shows.
Oh,
Probably just one at the Casbah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a very short thing, like 6 months. And then we recruited him into Palace Ballroom. Yeah.
Okay.
So then we spent.
No, that's what I'm saying. How long did Palace Ballroom?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the other band. Palace Ballroom was around for like 5-6 years. Maybe.
Okay.
They did 2 albums. I didn't play on any of the albums. I just played on that single.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, now we've got Desponders.
Yeah.
Humble brag. Let's go.
Can't believe the things you said. Words move around in your head. Your world collapses every day. All of your thoughts revolve around a painting flat sheet.
That shit's dope, dude. I love that shit.
Thank you
Hell yeah.
very much.
For sure.
Proud of that one.
Yeah, it's good. Where did you guys record that?
At Phaser Control, TJ Studio.
Yeah.
And mixed it there. Patrick Keeney was the engineer and the mixer, and TJ helped produce and mix a little, or engineer a little. And then we got this guy to master it from LA who's done, I think, was it Mad Lib you were talking about?
Yeah.
Earlier? I think he's done Mad Lib's records.
Nice.
And a ton of other shit. He's done Paramore and Jimmy Eat World, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big timer.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So what do you guys got planned?
Just this show
feature-wise?
coming up in January.
Okay.
That's our first thing. It's been a process because it took so long to write the songs because of like COVID and we were just schedules, and then took so long to record it because of schedules, and we just were being meticulous.
Yeah.
And then by then we'd kind of like forgotten how to play the song, so we had to relearn. And that's what we're doing, just getting tight. And
Yeah. And then you've got the brig of fucking chaos.
yeah, and like trying to figure out what should be on the backing track. Okay,
Yeah.
a little rhythm guitar here. Oh, that's too bright. Or the
Yeah.
the quad cortex amp simulator, that patch is a little too loud there. Like that's what we're spending most of the time doing tonight. Like I would just stop
Yeah.
in the middle of it and go over to the quad cortex and turn down the
Yeah.
gain or something.
Yeah.
Like just trying to even out all the patches.
Yeah. How do the other guys feel about that shit?
They're all for it, They
Okay.
like, and they'll stop and be like, yeah, that's a little too hot right there, or this, too
Yeah.
low, and we'll just tweak as we go.
Yeah.
We were practicing at my house with the whole rig and in-ear monitors, so we weren't getting a full sound from a cab.
Right.
And now we have to go make those adjustments
Yeah.
at the practice room.
For sure.
So
For sure.
it's another masochistic pursuit.
Oh yeah. It's fun. It's for fun.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
what
great.
we do, man.
Yeah, I
Especially
love it.
gear nerds. Jesus, we're the
Yep.
worst.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. Like I said, I'm gonna talk to Jordan too because I want to pick that fool's brain for sure.
Oh yeah. Noel Jordan.
I
I'm
call
gonna
him
start-
Jordan.
Yeah, that Noel's his first name.
Noel,
Jordan's-
sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No, it's
Sorry,
cool.
Noel.
I'm gonna start
It's because
calling
his
him that.
IG is Danger Jordan, so I thought it was
Yeah,
Jordan.
true.
My bad. Sorry, I'm bad
No,
with
it's all
names.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry, Noel, love you. Cool, brother. We'll tell people where they can find you.
Desponders.com.
Nice.
And then we have a million links to all the socials through there and some content and stuff. And
Cool.
a merch store.
Dope.
Yeah.
Right
No
on.
physical records yet, because
Working on
it's
it.
expensive. Yeah,
Working on it.
yeah.
Cool, man.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. Anytime. Thank you to anyone out there listening, anyone paying attention. This is your Blue Dreamer broadcast. I'm your humble host as always, Dr. I. Stay tuned, stay connected. Much love and respect. Peace.